Well, welcome to our third class. Is that right? This is our third class. And the first class, we did some keyword outlining, right? And second class, did a little bit of telling back from the keyword outline. We made another keyword outline. And I believe I gave you some homework. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Did you do your homework?
Yes.
Wonderful. I'm very happy to hear that. And if you didn't do your homework, don't tell me because you wouldn't want me to be unhappy. So go ahead and pull out the homework that you did, if you did it. And I think there was one thing that we didn't have time to talk about last class that would be important for you to be able to finish this homework. What would that be? Genevieve?
The title.
The title. Right? Did I say don't put the title? I think I probably said don't put the title. So why not put the title? Because there's a little trick to getting a good title. And that would be that you have your title and you've got your story and you've written the whole thing out. And when you get to the end of your story, that is the time when you might think about the whole thing, right? You think about what did you write and what kind of title might work well. Now, Benjamin, what is the purpose of a title? Why do we even have titles?
To explain a little bit of what it's about.
Okay, that would be one option, to explain a little bit about what it's about. What would be another possible purpose of a title? Josh, do you know? No? Anybody? Anna, what would a good title do?
It would be a good beginning.
A good thing in the first thing the people see, right? What would you like that title to do? Maybe to kind of grab the reader. You okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes people get like a little heart palpitations if you do that. But you want that title to grab the reader and say, read me, right? Because, I mean, what would you rather read? Unusual arachnids or deadly pincher stinger bugs? Which sounds more interesting? I guess it depends who you are. What do you think, Josh?
The first one you said?
You think that sounds more interesting? Unusual arachnids? As opposed to deadly stinger pincher bugs? Who thinks deadly stinger pincher bugs sounds better? And you think unusual arachnids. Well, that's okay. What would you rather read? The Hare and the Tortoise, or Obnoxious Rodent Bites the Dust? Which sounds more interesting?
Well, the Hare and the Tortoise kind of gives you what you think reading about, but then the other one you're like, what?
I mean, it creates a little mystery, doesn't it? Obnoxious rodent? Who is this obnoxious rodent? Bites the dust? Why do they bite the dust? You feel compelled. You want your title to try to compel the reader to read it. Because if you're looking at a shelf of books and you're looking for one to read, how do you decide which one to read? The title, right? Does it look interesting? I mean, what would you rather read? Facts, Facts, and More Facts, or The Strangest Things on Earth?
The second one.
It sounds more interesting, doesn't it? Good. So, just I don't know that anyone would write a book called Facts, Facts, and More Facts. So that sounds pretty awful, doesn't it? All right. So the way we do this then is we try to create a title that does two things. Number one, a title that has dramatic words. Words that would grab your attention, right? Words that give you a strong image or feeling. And then the second thing is that we would like to have those words connected with the story, connected with what you've written. And so you want to go to the last sentence in order to find a couple words that you could connect the title to, right? So you go to your last sentence, you find 1 or 2 or maybe 3 keywords, and then you try to make those keywords into your title. Now, what happens if you read your last sentence and there's no interesting keywords? Nothing to help you make a good title. What could you do? Yeah, Addison.
Go to the next sentence.
Well, you could go to the next sentence, but then what if there was nothing there? And you might have to keep going, you know. So that might not be the best strategy. I mean, if you wrote a sentence and didn't have enough interesting words, what could you do to the sentence?
Change it.
Change it. Put in some interesting words, right? You would look then and see, okay, how could I make this sentence more interesting? And then I could make the title out of it. You could also go the other way. You could think of a pretty good title, right? And then take words from the title and put those into your last sentence. So the idea is that your last sentence and your title would repeat 1 to 3 words. Last sentence and title repeat 1, 2, or 3 words. That's the rule, the title rule. So now everybody take a look at your last sentence and see what you wrote for your last sentence. Kind of read it to yourself there and try to think, what could I draw from this last sentence and make into a title? What's your last sentence, Josh?
I can read it really good.
Okay, it starts right here. In China, there are food shops that sell scorpions for supper. So what are the options? China, food, shops, sell, scorpion, supper.
Scorpion. Supper.
Scorpions for supper. That would work. That would be a decent title. What's your last sentence there, Josh?
In China, shops, they are considered delicacy.
Okay, so China shops considered delicacy. What could you make out of that?
Considered a doubt.
Considered a delicacy. Okay, that might work. Let's see. Stingers, pinchers. What else do they have? I forget.
Tail.
What?
A barbed tail.
Barbed tail. There you go. You might call it barbed acue. Then you could put in China, these barbed-tailed arachnids are a delicacy. You'd have to change your last sentence, but then you could call it something interesting, right? Barbed tail acue. Or...
Do I write it down now?
Yeah, go ahead and put the title, and then I'm going to collect the papers. So. Scorpion delicacy. So, from now on, every composition you write on the checklist will be this reminder that the title would repeat 1 to 3 words of the last sentence. And you can go either way. Make the title, then you stick something like that in the last sentence, or you pull from the last sentence and make the title. And we'll do this a few times, and we can refine it as you go. So it doesn't, your title doesn't have to tell everything there is to tell about it doesn't have to include everything you're trying to talk about. All right? Good. Now, today, we've got another source text, and this one is a little shorter, so that's good. And it's also an Aesop fable. So do we do the dog and the shadow? That was an Aesop fable. So here's another little Aesop fable. Do you like Aesop fables?
I don't know what they are.
You don't know what they are. Well, they're little stories written supposedly by a guy named Aesop. Or some people say Aesop. I don't know the truth. I grew up saying Aesop. But you just have to figure it out. I think if you study Latin, AE is supposed to say A, like A. So maybe it's Aesop. Word has it, Aesop was a blind slave. And he got really good at telling little stories. And so he was so good at telling little stories that people started telling his stories to other people. And those people started telling those stories. And pretty soon, everybody was telling stories by Aesop. 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 I'm not sure. So this one is called The Bald Man and the Fly. So let's read it together. Everyone got their copy? Ready to go? All right. On a hot summer day, a tired traveler sat down to rest and took off his hat. A fly began buzzing about his bald head and sweaty face, landing on his skin from time to time. "Get away, fly," he mumbled. He tried to smack the fly, but instead he hit only his own head. When he slapped his skin, it stung. But he slapped again and again, trying to get that pesky insect. But he failed, and thus became frustrated and angry. Finally, the man understood his mistake. He thought, "We are likely to hurt only ourselves when we get so angry." Have you heard that one before? Anybody? Yeah, you have, Addison? So you can imagine the scenario, right? It's a hot day. You're sweaty. That happens a lot here, doesn't it? He's traveling, so he's tired. He sits down, takes off his hat, and what happens?
A fly?
A fly lands on his bald head. Now, you don't know what it would be like to have a fly land on your bald head because you don't have a bald head. But you might know what it's like to have a mosquito land on your arm or a gnat. Do you ever have gnats? Or fruit flies or regular flies or horse flies. And you get it landing on you, you're like, ah! Like if there was in this jar a bunch of flies and they came out, then you would have to fight the flies, wouldn't you? Ah! That's what it would be like. You want to try? No flies. You have to imagine. You have to use your imagination. Now, if the bald man had simply had one of these things, you know what this is? It looks like a tennis racket, but no, it's a fly racket. You turn it on or something, and the whole thing goes like electric, and then you touch it. Have you ever used one of these? You just hit the fly and it goes. This is the awesomest way to kill a fly, especially if you like a little sizzling sound. Do you like a little sizzling sound? But this poor bald man was lacking modern technology. He was lacking not only a fly swatter, he was even lacking tennis rackets. He was lacking everything. But what would you prefer? A fly that's just constantly or risk slapping yourself? Well, he's getting angrier and angrier. Have you ever had that happen? You get angrier and angrier. And pretty soon you're so angry, you just want to, what do you want to do when you're that angry? Explode. Tell you a little secret. When I was about your age, I had a very bad habit. When I was angry, I would kick the door to my room. And for many times, the kick did not do anything to the door. But then one day, my foot went into the door and broke and made a hole in the door. It was a hollow door, right? And I thought, oh no, how can I disguise this? I couldn't. But for some reason, I still don't know. They never asked me, how did the hole get in the door? Maybe they're just nice. So I'm not saying you should get that angry and kick your door, but it's just an example, right? When you get so angry, you kind of lose control, right? So that's, I think, what happened. This fly was just bothering this guy, bothering, until he lost control. He's like, I don't care how much it hurts. Bam, bam, bam. Do you think he ever got the fly?
No.
No. But he did get a bit of wisdom. What's the wisdom he got?
You should only hurt yourself when you're angry.
Yep, you ended up only hurting yourself when you're angry. Like punching a wall, kicking a door, hitting a fly, right? Saying some mean thing. All right, grab a fresh piece of paper. Bald man and fly. All right, I think you're getting pretty good at this keyword outline business now, so you should be able to make some choices pretty easily. So let's read the first sentence again. On a hot summer day, a tired traveler sat down to rest and took off his hat. Keyword. Zeke, what do you like?
Summer day.
Summer? Okay, let's go with summer. Addison, you got an idea? Traveler. All right, and one more. Sat. Okay. So, it was a lovely summer day, and the traveler sat down to rest. This indicates that he was probably not driving a car. Of course, in Aesop's day, no cars. He probably was walking along a road where there had been a great number of donkeys or oxen dropping, you know what, along the road as they went, which is probably what helped to attract the flies. All right, you got that? Okay, number 2. A fly began buzzing about his bald head and sweaty face, landing on his skin from time to time. Josh?
Sweaty.
Sweaty. Is that what you were thinking, Ben?
I was thinking fly, but then I realized it's actually in the...
Okay, so sweaty. What else could we go with? Yep.
Landing.
Landing. Okay, Anna, what do you think?
Time.
Time. Okay, so sweaty, landing, time. You'd have to remember it's where's he landing?
The guy's head.
On the guy's head or his face or his skin or something like that. Okay. So, sweaty, landing, time and again. Too many times. What's that expression mean, from time to time?
Every once in a while?
Every once in a while? Every now and then? How often do you think this fly was landing? Yeah?
Every minute or so.
Zoop. 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 Like, or more than every minute, maybe.
Every time the bald man tried to hit him.
That's probably it. Yes. All right. What do we got next? Oh, this is a short sentence. This would be easy. Zeke, what do you like? Get away. Fly, he mumbled.
He mumbled.
Mumbled, okay. Yep.
Away.
Away. Okay. One more. Anna?
Get.
Get, okay. Now, do you know about quotation marks? Okay, so he's talking, right? And the way you show someone talking is you put in the quotation mark, which is the two little marks up at the top of where the letter is. So, what was it? Away. So, away and fly. And then that's the end of him talking. And so then what was the next word we had? Mumbled. Mumbled. That's one of those words that kind of sounds like it means what it means. Words like zip sounds like a zip, right? What would be some other words that kind of sound like what they mean? Plop. Zing. Tick. 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 Boom! In this case, mumbled. Mumbled. Sounds like mumbling, doesn't it? Mumbled. All right. Next sentence. He tried to smack the fly, but instead he hit only his own head. All right, Patrick, what do you like?
Tried.
Tried. And, okay. Head. And we get one more out of the three. Addison?
Instead.
Instead. Okay. So maybe we could draw a little fly, huh? So he tried to hit the fly, but it's a fly. You know it's a fly, right? He tried to hit the fly, but instead he hit his own head. That rhymes. Instead, head. Almost make a poem out of it. When he slapped his skin, it stung, but he slapped again and again, trying to get that pesky insect. Anna? Stung. All right. What do you think, Joshua?
Slap.
Slapped. So slapped, stung, and Patrick?
Pesky.
Pesky. Emma, what are you thinking?
I was thinking insect.
You were going to go with insect. You go with either one. Addison, what are you thinking?
Again.
Again? You can put down whichever one you like. You can choose. We don't all have to put exactly the same. So go ahead and put whatever works for you. All right, coming in toward the end. Sophia, oh, you zoomed ahead? All right, well, the next sentence then, but he failed and thus became frustrated and angry. What did you put for that?
Failed, became frustrated.
Failed, became and frustrated. What would be some other options? Maybe failed, frustrated, angry, became angry. Lots of options, right? So go ahead and put that for the next one. All right. The seventh sentence is, finally the man understood his mistake. What would you go with keywords there? Anna, what do you think for that sentence? Finally the man understood his mistake. What would you go with? Mistake?
Mistake.
Anything else? Understood? What? Finally? Okay. Understood mistake. And then in number 8, I don't have space down here, so I'll put it over on the side, but you can put it below on your paper. He thought we are likely to hurt only ourselves when we get so angry. All right, last sentence. Emma, what do you like?
Hurt.
Hurt. And we could have another one. Okay, Josh? Say again?
Ourselves.
Ourselves. Hurt ourselves, and we get one more. Angry? Is that what you're thinking? Likely, could. Thought, we could do that. Okay, so any of those will work. Go ahead and put down what you like. Okay, so what we'll do now is you can kind of take your source text, right, the bald man and the fly, just kind of maybe slip it into the front of your notebook there, just let it rest out of the way. And then take the keyword outline, no, the source text, this one. Yeah, there you go. So keep the source text there. All right. And we want to test our outline to see if it works. Ben?
Do you make it into a full sentence?
Right. We try to tell it back verbally and make it into sentences, kind of like the original story. Not exactly, but the best we can, right? So who would like to start with this one and try to make a sentence that kind of approximates the original? Doesn't have to be exact, but close enough. Ben?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
In the summertime, a traveler sat down to rest.
Okay, in the summertime, a traveler sat down to rest. Beautiful. Addison, try the second one?
The traveler was sweaty, so a fly came and landing on his skin time to time.
Okay, the traveler was sweaty, so a fly came landing on his skin from time to time. Is that what you said? Good. All right, beautiful. All right, number 3. Okay, Anna P. over there.
Get away, fly, he mumbled.
All right. Away, fly, he mumbled. Get away, fly. Good. Okay, number 4. All right, Josh.
He tried to swat the fly.
Mm-hmm.
Next one.
Instead.
Instead, he hit his head.
Good. Very well done, Josh. Excellent. He tried to hit the fly, but instead he hit his head. All right. Number 5. Okay. Emma.
When he slapped his head, it stung, but he kept doing it again and again.
When he slapped his head, it stung, but he kept doing it again and again. All right. Sophia, you want to go for number 6? Or you can look at your own paper too. It might be different, but that's fine. Whatever works for you.
He failed to become frustrated and angry.
So, but is that what you mean? You just said he failed to become frustrated and angry. What happened? He failed to get the fly, right? So he failed to get the fly and became frustrated and angry, right? If he failed to become frustrated and angry, well then, that would be a completely different story, wouldn't it? Be like, ha, I'll slap myself all day and I'll never get frustrated or angry. But no, he failed to get the fly. That made him angry. All right, number 7. Okay, Patrick.
Finally, he understood his mistake.
Beautiful. Finally, he understood his mistake. Last one. Last chance. Okay, Eliana.
When we get angry, we only hurt ourselves.
When we get angry, we only hurt ourselves. Very well done. Excellent. Super. Now, today, when we write this story, we're going to add in the first of the stylistic techniques. So I'm going to bring you a sheet of paper here. It's a yellow one. We're going to use this for a long, long time. And gradually, over months, we're going to fill in the blanks on this page. But this paper shows that there are 3 categories, 3 divisions of stylistic techniques. The first is dress-ups, the second is sentence openers, and the third is decorations. So we're going to start with dress-ups. Now, when I say dress-up, what does that mean to you? If someone says, oh, you have to dress up, what does that mean?
Get a costume.
Getting into a costume.
Get into a costume, or Patrick?
Dress up nice.
Dress up nicely. What would you wear if you were dressing up nicely? Sophia? You would wear that, okay. Nice shirt, matching bow, it's very nice. A dress.
Tie.
A tie. A suit. Do you think I'm dressed nicely? Yeah, I'm trying to look good. So I put on a tie, a suit, creased pants, shiny shoes. Yeah, check it out. Well, not that shiny. That I need to go get a shine. I better do that. So we dress up when we want to have kind of a more professional style, right? Style is something that you can change. You could change your style. You could change your hairstyle. What are some possible hairstyles you could have?
Mohawk.
Mohawk style, or
A braid.
a braid style, or
Short hair.
short hairstyle, or
Long hair.
long hairstyle, messy hairstyle, no hairstyle, like our poor bald man. Although I'm not sure he chose that style. He maybe just lost his hair, as many men do as they get older. But I'm very happy to still have most of my hair. But, so you could change your hairstyle. What else could have style? Your shirt style. Your cars could have a different style, couldn't they? Different color, different shape, different model. Sophia?
Your personality.
Your personality. I suppose you think of style as something you can kind of change easily. I don't know. Can you change your personality easily?
Well, you could I like cats, and then I could change it. I like butterflies now.
Yeah, that's right. You could say, well, I'm a person who likes cats, and then you could get tired of cats and become a person who likes what?
Butterflies.
Butterflies. I guess, yeah, good. So we're going to talk about style in terms of writing. So you might think, is there different styles of writing? Do any of you like to write notes to your friends? Does anyone ever do that? Would it be okay to do weird, wild, funny things in a note for your friend? Like write in funny letter shapes, or use a different color felt marker, or write in a circular pattern, or write in a secret code? Would that be okay in a note for a friend? Yeah, probably, because it's fun, right? So weird, wild, silly, kind of like wearing a costume to a costume party, right? What would be plain style? Does anyone have a mom who talks on the phone quite a bit? Okay, and you want to communicate something to your mom. You want to ask her an important question like, can I play now? But you can't interrupt her because she's talking on the phone. What can you do?
You can have sign language.
You could use sign language, yeah. That'd be one option. Well, what else could you do, Anna?
You can wait.
You could wait. Although in our house, if you were waiting for the mom to get off the phone, you could have been waiting a long time. What's another option?
You could write her a note.
You could write a little note,
I
right?
do that sometimes.
Do you ever write her? So she's on the phone
Even
talking.
if they're not on the phone.
Oh, even if she's not on the phone. Mom, can I go play now? Right? Although this works even better. Mom, can I go play now? Yes, no. Circle 1. You give her a nonverbal response mechanism. Then she can circle which one, and then you can play or not. All right. But my point is, it's kind of like jeans and t-shirt style, right? But if you want to write a letter to an important person, who might be an important person you write a letter to? Can you think of anybody? Yeah.
The president.
The president, or who else?
Queen Elizabeth?
Queen Elizabeth, definitely. Who else might you want to write a letter to? Yeah.
My friends.
Your friend, and they're important. Yeah, okay. Or
Grandma.
your grandmother, absolutely. Why do you want to write beautiful letters to your grandmother?
To make her happy.
To make her happy, exactly. And there's nothing better than a happy grandmother, right? So when you do that, you would want to use some stylistic techniques to kind of dress up your writing. It's like I put on a tie and a coat, trying to make myself look a little more professional. You can do that in your writing. So right here, in spot number 1 there under dress ups, let's go ahead and put in the first dress up technique. And I better get rid of this. Number 1, are you ready? Okay, get your pen, write it down. The number 1 dress up is the ly, so dash ly adverb. Ly adverb. An adverb is one of the parts of speech. You've heard of noun, verb, adjective, you heard those things? So an adverb is one of those. It's a part of speech. And it's called an adverb because you can often add it to a verb. A verb is something you do, right? So you might say, I eat, right? So eat would be the verb. Then you would add an ly word that would tell how you eat. So you could say, I eat something-ly. What might you put there to describe your eating? I eat beautifully. I eat messily. Yes, you could do that. I eat crazy. Now you have to make it into ly. So you'd have to say, I eat crazily. Crazily, yeah. I eat neatly. Good. I eat nicely. I eat horribly. I eat carefully. I eat coolly. I eat slowly. I eat sillily. How about I eat broccoli? No, Addison? No, why? What's wrong with broccoli?
Because it doesn't end in ly.
It doesn't end in ly. It sounds like it does, right? There's a few words that end in ly, though, that aren't adverbs. Butterfly would be one of them. Don't eat butterflies. Ugly. Could you say, I eat ugly? Probably not. You'd have to say, I eat uglily, or I eat in an ugly way. You could do that. Or you could say, I eat ugly food, but then the ugly would go with the food, not with the eat, right? Do you see? Let's try another verb. I play. Do you play? All right, how do you play? I play nicely. I play playfully. I play, Patrick? Happily. I play
Awesomely.
awesomely. Okay, or I play
Cool.
coolly. I play
Happily.
happily.
I play happily.
Happily. And if you enjoy it, you might change enjoy into,
Enjoyably.
well, not enjoyly, but what would it be? Enjoy. It's a tricky one. Enjoyably. So enjoy, enjoyable, enjoyably. See how that would go? See, sometimes you have to, get there through thinking about, okay, what's the word? So enjoyably. How about if you do something all the time, all the time? You might say, I do it.
Sloppy.
Say again?
Sloppily.
Sloppily.
Constantly.
Constantly. If you do something all the time, every day after day, all the time, you might say, I do it
Busily.
busily or
Boringly.
boringly. Yeah. Suppose it was the same thing all day, every day. Or
Regularly.
regularly. That's a good one.
Amazingly.
Amazingly. Okay, you starting to get the feel for this? These are the ly adverbs. So take a fresh sheet of paper. And on the top, put ly adverbs. And on this paper, we're going to make a list of some ly adverbs that probably will fit in our story about the bald man and the fly, right? This man was traveling, and then he decided to take a rest. What word could go with that? He somethingly sat down to rest. Yes? Okay, suddenly. All right, let's put it down. So go ahead and write the words down on your paper. Suddenly, and I recommend you skip lines so you can read them very easily. So we've got suddenly. Maybe he was traveling for a long time and then he was thinking about resting and then he somethingly decided to rest. What could be there? Yes?
Happily.
Happily, okay. Let's go with that one, happily. Yes?
Sleepily.
Sleepily, okay, that might work. Sleepily. He somethingly sat down on a rock. If he was traveling and he was tired, it would be very natural to want to take a rest, wouldn't it? So how could you change that into ly? What do you got there?
Well, he could sit on it uncomfortably.
Uncomfortably, he sat on the rock. You could do that. Or comfortably, you could have it go either way. So comfortably. Or you could stick an un in front of it and get uncomfortably, either one. Okay, so he sat down to rest. Now, this fly is attracted to his sweaty skin, kind of, the perspiration moistness just draws the fly. The fly somethingly starts to land on his skin. What could you put in there? Say again?
Busily or happily?
Busily, okay. Busily, B-U-S-I-L-Y. Busily. How else might we describe this fly? He's landing on you. Yes?
Annoyingly.
Annoyingly, that would work, wouldn't it? All right, annoyingly. A-N-N-O-Y-I-N-G-L-Y. Annoyingly, that's a long word. How else might you describe the fly? If it's doing it again and again, what word might you use there? If you do something again and again. Constantly, how about that one? Or? Repeatedly. Those would both work pretty well. Let's go with that. Constantly. And then you can keep going down on your paper. I'm going to go over here, but you can go down. Repeatedly. Repeatedly. Okay, so what happens next? He tries to slap the fly. How does he slap? He slaps Hardly's funny. Think about that word, hardly. If you say, I work hard, or I hit hard, it means one thing. If you say, I hardly work, it means the opposite, doesn't it? Isn't that strange? That word kind of reverses meaning when you stick the ly on. A very strange word. But what else might we say? Yes?
Violently.
Violently, that'll go. There's a good one. He violently began to slap the fly. What else might fit there? He somethingly slapped. He slapped.
Hardly.
Well, yeah, see, hardly's a tough one. Yes? Say again?
Vigorously.
Vigorously. Oh, that's a nice one. Do you know that word, Benjamin? Vigorously. All right. Vigorously. Sometimes if you don't know how to spell it, but you remember all the letters, it sounds funny. Vigorously. If he had a lot of energy, you might say he slapped
Constantly.
constantly. All right. Oh, we've got constantly, so we've got that one there already. We could use it in that case. Meanly. Yes. Angrily. There you go. Angrily slapped. Let's see, what else? The fly kept buzzing him, he kept slapping, and then he decided to give up, right? What is that when you do something and then you make a decision, it's all over? Yeah.
Discouragingly.
Discouragingly. Sure, you could do that. Discouragingly. How about if something goes on and on and on, and then it ends? You might say, somethingly, it ends. What could you fit in that space?
Suddenly.
Well, no, because it's going on and on, so it's not sudden.
Repeatedly.
Repeatedly. He's slapping and missing and hurting himself, and then he does that a lot, and then he gives up. So you might say somethingly, he gave up. What would fit there? Yeah.
Hopelessly.
Hopelessly, maybe. I'm thinking kind of at the end. What happens at the end? You'd say, I'll write it. See if you can guess it.
Finally.
There you go. Finally. Finally, he gave up. And he realized. What did he realize? In the end of the story. Yeah.
It's a mistake.
It was a mistake. And the little lesson of the story he learns is when you're angry, you only hurt yourself, right? Good. Okay, do you think there are more ly adverbs in the world? Gazillions. But this is a good starter list. Let's read them. Some of you are still copying, and that's fine. But let's read them. And when you say the word, I want you to say the word like it means. So you say it the way it means. So this one you would say, suddenly. Let's try that again. Ready? Suddenly. Good. This one you would say, happily. This one? Sleepily. This one? Well, you got to say it twice, right? First when you say it, comfortably. Then you say it uncomfortably. All right. This one? Busily. This one? Annoyingly. You know, something like that. This one? Constantly. I bet you've heard your mom or dad use that one, huh? How about this one? Repeatedly, 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 repeatedly. How fast can you say it? Go. Repeatedly, 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 repeatedly. Like a tongue twister, right? Violently! Vigorously. Meanly. Angrily. This one. Discouragingly. This one. Now, that's cool. Repeatedly. Repeatedly. That's irony. Isn't that perfect? We accidentally repeated the word repeatedly. And this one, to do this one properly, you have to kind of wait. No. Finally. Like that. Good. Yeah, finally. Okay. So, when you write the story today, and when you finish it doing your homework, you must, and it'll be on the checklist I'm going to give you, you have to put into your story, of your version of the Bald Man and the Fly, you have to put in at least one ly adverb. Okay? Somewhere. You can have more than one. You can have 2, you can have 10. I don't care. But the minimum is 1, right? So that's what we have to do. Now, I'm going to give you a checklist, and I want to kind of explain it a little bit so that everything is perfectly clear. Ooh, that's nice. Okay. Now, you'll notice on the checklist at the top is a place for your name. So go ahead and put your name in right now so that you won't forget to do that. Okay, then the source text. What's the story we were working with?
The Bald Man and the Fly.
Good, okay, so just put Bald Man and Fly or whatever you want to write that's similar to that. And put that in that spot for source text. Okay, now take out a fresh piece of paper and we're going to start writing the story here. And I think you remember a couple things about when you start writing the story. The first one would be, where do you put your name and date? Do you remember?
Left-hand corner.
Top left corner, right? So go ahead and do that. Put your name. So 9/12/17, or if you want to write it all out, September 12th. No, just next to the pink line right there is fine. Yeah. It's a little bit. Okay, then you're going to leave the top line blank, right? Why do you leave the top line blank? The title. When do you create the title?
At the end.
At the end, after you write the whole story, right? So you leave that blank. Okay, so now you look on your paper and it says name and date in upper left-hand corner, right? So you did that, you can check it off. There's a little checkbox, you can check it off. Do you see? So this checklist is going to help you remember all the things to do. What's the next thing it says to remember to do? Double space. It says composition, double spaced. What does that mean? Skip every other line, right? Let me just review so that everyone recalls a few things about skipping lines. You're going to skip a couple lines under there. Then you start writing. All right. A tired traveler, blah, blah, blah. When you get to the end of the line, you skip the next line. When you get to the end of the sentence, you put a period. Then you start your next word with a capital. When you get to the end of the line, and you keep writing until you get to the end of the line, and then you skip. And if you get to the end of the sentence, you put a, and then you start with a, and then when you get to the end of the line, you, good, and then you write, keep writing. And then, of course, you hope you're finished, right? Now, why must we skip lines?
Just in case we mess up, we could write above using the upside down V caret wedgie thingy.
Good. So if you want to change something, right? Ben, you want to add to that?
It's neatly. Like it makes it look neater.
It makes it easier to read. That's good. So if you want to make a change, easier to read, and you're not allowed to, of course, what? Erase. Now, I think most of you are using a pen. Who's using a pen? Good, because I like pens better than pencils. So just to review, if you want to change a word, what do you do? Addison?
You cross it out.
Yeah, or not even cross it out, just a single line, right? So you line it out, and then you can keep writing what you want. What if you want to change a word that's up here that you already wrote? Same idea. You line it out. Where do you put the word that you want to put in? Above. Always above. Never below, right? So then you put the word or words in you want to make it correct or improved. What if you want to add a word? How do you add a word to a sentence you already wrote? Anna?
You write it up top and then you make an arrow to where you want it to be.
Yes, almost. Almost. Genevieve?
Upside down wedgie carrot thing.
Ah, you remember the proper name. The upside down V caret wedgie thingy. Everyone say it. Upside down V caret wedgie thingy. And then in the space above, you put the word or words you want to make it correct or improved. Right? Now, what if you want to move a word or words? What if you want to move something from one place in a sentence to another? How do you do that? Anyone remember? Joshua? Circle it. And
Then put an arrow to where you want it.
draw a little arrow to where you want it to go. Right? Good. How about if you line something out and you say, oh no, I wish I hadn't crossed that out. What can you do? Do you remember? Genevieve?
You circle it and you put an OK.
You circle it and you put OK. And then you're OK. Unless you don't want it, in which case what do?
Exit out.
Scratch out the OK. But then what if you change your mind again and you say, I really do like that word? Then what do? Put the OK back. Then if you change your mind again and you say, no, it really isn't a great word, you can get rid of it. And then if you change your mind, say, no, I really do kind of like it. You're probably having writer's indecision there, but sometimes that happens. Okay, so that's kind of what you're doing on the rough draft of your paper, right? No erasing. If you need to change things, you double space, you got plenty of chance to do that, okay? So your composition checklist is reminding you of that. What's the next thing you read on the structure part of the checklist? Do you see it? What's that say?
The title is centered.
Title is centered and repeats 1 to 3 keywords from the final sentence, the last sentence, right? So that's reminding you of the title rule, right? And then it's telling you in the next line here, can you read it with me? Checklist on top, final draft, rough draft, keyword outline. So you're going to take everything and put it in a pile in this order. Checklist, final, rough draft, outline, and staple it together, right, when you turn it in next week. All right? So that's reminding you how to do that. Then below it says dress-ups, and you know one of them. Which one is it? LY adverb. So in your little version, okay, you're going to somewhere in there have at least one ly word, okay? So before you're finished, you're going to read through, underline your ly word, and then you can check it off on the box, okay? So you're going to underline and then check it off. That's why it says dress-ups, underline one of each, okay? So that's the trick. Now, can you have 2 LYs? Sure. How about 3? Sure. How about 24? That would be a little excessive, but I mean, if you want to go LY crazy, I don't really care. You can have as many as you want, but only underline one of them. So even if you have 3, just pick one, underline. It doesn't matter which one. Okay, now these things, right, we all need some help with these things, right? So this is the second thing for your assignment. You can write it down at the bottom of the page. Put a little box right there, okay, on the bottom of your page. So I'm going to give you an additional assignment. Additional assignment. Box. Okay, so in addition to writing up your story and using the checklist, getting an ly word in, you have to hire an editor. Hire an editor. Now, what is an editor? Do you know, Ben?
Somebody who checks your paper?
Exactly. Someone who checks your paper. Someone who will read what you wrote and fix anything that needs to be fixed.
So you write that down.
Yes. Hire an editor. Question, Emma?
Does my mom count?
Well, let me explain a couple things about editors, okay? The first thing about an editor is that an editor will fix up your paper and hand it back with no lecture attached. No explanation, no long discussion, just here you go. I fixed it up, you copy it over, you're done. Okay? That's the first thing about an editor. The second thing about an editor is you have to pay them. Well, that's negotiable. I'm available if you would like to hire me, but I am rather expensive because I don't really like editing very much. I charge $1 a word. I think you find a better deal somewhere else, don't you? So let's think, who might possibly be a good editor for you? Well, possibly an older brother or sister who knows how to spell and do punctuation and all that stuff. Who's got an older brother or sister? Okay, so maybe that would work. If you don't have one, well, you're out of luck. How about a grandmother? Who's got a grandmother they think knows something about spelling and punctuation and all that stuff? All right, so maybe a grandmother. How about a father? Maybe a father. How about a friend who knows how to spell and do punctuation better than you do? Maybe, maybe not, not sure. Or maybe a friend's older sister. Maybe that would work. You could hire your mother, Emma, but I'll tell you, you sometimes have to train a mom how to be an editor. Because see, what I've noticed is that what moms want to do is write on your paper and then explain to you all the things that you should have done correct or better if you could have, and you get this long kind of little lecture, and I don't think you want that, do you? No, just fix the paper and hand it back. No lecture attached. That's what editors do. So you might hire your mom, but you might have to train her how to do that, right? But next week, you tell me who your editor is, and then I'm going to give you a letter to give to your editor that explains a little bit about what I want them to do to help you best, okay? All right, well, I hope you have a nice, relaxing evening and a good week. And if you have any questions, be sure and contact us. Otherwise, I'll see you then. Go have a nice day.